I know more than most 40-year-old men should about Barbie because, well, I grew up around it. My G.I. Joes would invade the Barbie town, would hijack the Barbie Corvette, would also do unspeakable things like cut their hair. I didn't cut the Barbie's hair. The army men, my G.I. Joes and army men did that. I didn't do that. Spraying ketchup and barbecue sauce all over. I didn't do that. That's the truth, and I'm sticking to it. But what's interesting is reviews are coming out now for the Barbie movie that are referring to all men in the film are either bigots or idiots. Is anybody out there at all surprised by this? Now, I didn't put firecrackers on them. I never did that. G.I. Joes, after I went upstairs at night, they did that. I didn't. Monday evening, 6:15 Barbie review with Sarah Vine. The mother and daughter verdict that every man in this film is a bigot or a loser. My daughter totally loved it. A giant queue of people snaking all around the cinema, past the Lego store, past the lurid M&M shop, all the way to Waldorf Street. I've honestly never seen anything like it. It felt more like a queue for some sellout teeny bopper concert than the press night for the film about a plastic doll. There were security men with wires coming out of the ears, bright pink influencers preening for social media, officials with clipboards handing out embargoes for all of us to sign. A protester with a megaphone was heckling, "Why are you doing this? This is embarrassing. You are women. You should be ashamed of yourself for going to a film like Barbie." Nervous giggles all around. "We're here for work," retorted the woman behind me. "Then get another job," he replied. Touché. Every one of the screens in the place had been commandeered by Barbie. I took my daughter B, who's 20, partly because she nagged me half to death about coming, partly as an unsullied Gen Z counterpart to my grumpy mom stance on Barbie. Despite the tagline, "If you hate Barbie, this film is for you," I didn't really think it was likely to be the target audience, and so it transpired. She loved every second, not me, not so much. My main criticism has nothing to do with the subject matter, Barbie or no Barbie. It's not intrinsically that good a film. It's uneven, disjointed. The plot makes no real sense, and the dead hand of corporate America weighs heavily upon it. For sure, Mattel is significantly superficially mocked in the shape of bumbling CEO and his besooted sidekicks, but the opening scene, in which is a group of little girls smash their boring old-fashioned dolls' heads in with alarming aggression at the appearance of their Barbie messiah, is actually quite sinister. As an appearance of the ghost of Ruth Handler, Barbie's inventor, it's some sort of godlike figure. My main objection is that Barbie is not really a film about Barbie at all. It's 1 hour and 54 minutes of extended misandry, dressed up as a few fun dance routines, and one or two, granted, fairly decent jokes. It's a deeply anti-man movie, an extension of all that TikTok feminism that paints any form of masculinity, other than most anodyne, as toxic and predatory, and frames women's liberation as a movement based on achieving equality between men and women, but as cultural revenge vehicle designed to write men out of the history altogether. Every single male character is either an idiot, a bigot, or a sad, rather pathetic loser. If the roles were reversed, a male director made this film about how all women were hysterical, neurotic, gold-digging wenches, it would be denounced, quite rightfully, as deeply offensive and sexist. In a nutshell, Barbie and Ken set off on an adventure to the real world to discover a source of Barbie's sudden and uncharacteristic anxiety. Barbie gets a nasty shock as she's not universally popular as she imagined. Ken, on the other hand, has a tremendous time plugging into the macho culture of LA and discovering that there is such a thing called a patriarchy. He then turns into a, quote, real man, goes back to Barbie Land, organizes the equivalent of an incel uprising, quite literally given Ken's lack of tackle, and brainwashes all the Barbies into becoming his willing slaves. Strong Andrew Tate vibes, put it that way. Queen Barbie, aka Margot Robbie, must then mobilize a counter-revolution, which she does with the help of her human friends, mother and daughter duo Gloria and Sasha. Using their Barbie wiles, they put the Kens back in their boxes. The film ends with her checking into a gynecology clinic, presumably so she can become a real woman. Don't get me wrong, there are some very fun moments. Weird Barbie, played by actress Kate McKinnon, is a great premise. A sort of wisecracking Barbie savant, Ryan Gosling inhabits the character of Ken with an infectious gusto and just the right amount of tongue-in-cheek campness. And Margot Robbie is, as ever, a joy to watch on the screen, utterly authentic and suitably endearing. We're told that the Barbies were all about empowerment, yet they weaponize their attractiveness in the most unedifying way. When it comes to tricking the Kens, they do it by batting their eyelids like dumb dollies. Everyone mocks the Kens for being useless and impotent, and when they try to be anything else, they get put down. It's all just a bit of poorly thought out soap. Did it make me love Barbie? Of course not. Did it make me feel a little sorry for those who subscribe to this nonsense and for the young men growing up in a world that tells them worthless? Yes. I mean, this is I wanted to give this movie the benefit of the doubt. I really did. I was hoping that it was like actually going to be like just a kind of fun ride. And I actually considered seeing this movie because, I mean, look, if you grew up, like I was a 90s kid. If you were a 90s kid, you know Barbie. You have lots of memories of Barbie. Barbie was everywhere. Every little girl wanted Barbie. Every commercial on Saturday morning cartoons was G.I. Joes, Battle Sharks, Barbies. You remember all these things. So whether you played with the Barbies or not, you still have this like nostalgia, right? You still have this like nostalgia feel. The member berries are extremely strong for Barbies, even for men. And it was something I thought I would go see with my sister, like it's just a good brother-sister thing. We don't really hang out, not for any other reason other than we're both pretty independent, They could have just made it fun and made the two characters equal, and everybody would have enjoyed it. Now the movie comes out in a few days, and it's going to get trashed. Like it's going to get absolutely dragged by men who see it, who review it, who don't hate men. Now, obviously, critics hate men. Even the men hate the men. I suspect Rotten Tomatoes will give this movie an extremely high rating, somewhere in the high 80s or 90s. I would suspect. Oh, look at that. Just checked it. I'm right. It's 89%. I couldn't have like segued any better than that. The movie has an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes because of course it does. Because it's all about bashing men. That's what that's great. That's good fodder. That's it's just more anti-man, anti-male propaganda. And that sucks. It sucks because I don't want to see this. I want to see the reviews, you silly goose. See movie details. Maybe that's what I want to do. It's weird because like Margot Robbie has never really been attached to. Why does it take me here? Here, I'll do this. Margot Robbie has never really been attached to like man hating, as far as I know. I think people have. Oh, it went from 89 to 90, so it's got an 89. I think it's gonna bump to 90. Here's what Linda Merrick for the Jewish Chronicle writes. It's a film that says girls who love pink can also be feminists. Great. Are we really doing this? I wonder if there's any references to the wage gap. All of the women in the Barbie world are literally vapid bimbos. Like Barbie maybe scratching at something interesting and satirizing the easy ride mediocre men have in the world, but it's also one of the bigger ironies that it only really comes alive as the movie when Ken gains some agency. Most people say that Ken's the only interesting character. A hamster wheel of relentless identity crisis, musical numbers, tears, tantrums, bland feminist speeches, questionable acting from a huge cast, and Ken suddenly turning into a deranged ex-boyfriend. I mean, will this movie... I don't know how this movie will do in the box office because, again, it's Barbie. It's a, like, any woman from the age of 30 to 70 or 80 will have fond memories of Barbie, and they will likely want to see this movie. It'll be interesting what the actual viewers' reviews say about it, but just another Hollywood movie saying men bad. Who could possibly have been surprised? Definitely not me. And if you're enjoying this coverage, I hope that wherever you're watching it, YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, that you give this channel a follow, because I'd love to be able to have you find my videos each and every day.